Jai Magamakhya, Jai Matara, Jai Bhairava. So this is basically regarding Bhairava Sadhana for the coming Kalabhairava Ashtami. So before that, as those who have been following me over the last 2 years at least are aware that every Ashtami tithi through the trust that I have, Kamakya Bhairava Upasak Foundation, various sevas are done across India. Kal Bhairav Temple, Batuk Bhairava Temple, then Rudravishekam that is done in Ujjain, Rudravishekam that is done in temples of Mahakal in Nepal. Then there are specific Bhairava temples in south where Abhishekams are done. Along with it, there is a lot of Annadanam that happens in different Ved Pathshalas as well as in other places feeding the poor people. The basic idea is somehow this is done with the idea of with the basic sankalpa of awakening dharma as well as getting the blessings of Lord Bhairava. These are very effective methods in my opinion, and they take some time, which means that it is not a one-day thing, because in order to awaken great force of Bhairava, these things cannot happen in one day or 1 year. You have to continue the process over years. And entirely by the blessings of Bhagwan Bhairava, there are thousands of people who have connected with this, and they do the Ashtami Tithi Bhairava Japa. So together this creates a very powerful spiritual aura, and its effects are already in place, and in the coming years or decades, in fact, this is going to uh, cause a very strong attraction for especially the young people into Bhairav Sadhana, which is in a way the entry point of, and also uh, a way in which the desha and the dharma, the country and the dharma can be protected, because Bhairava in this plane governs many things, from Para Bhairava, where he is the supreme lord of all things. He becomes the ultimate, the Brahman, the manifestation of the Brahman, to the protector of Shakti Pithas, protector of Shakti. In fact, the whole of India is like a land of Shakti. And Bhairava is the deity who is in charge of guarding that space from all types of negative energies. So without sufficient amount of Bhairava Japa, it is not a coincidence that we have unfortunately landed in a situation, politically and otherwise, that right from the time that the country, the constitutional country that India is, from the moment that it came into existence till now, we have had conflicts on the border from all sides. One of the reasons, in my humble but very firm opinion, is also because for a very long time in history, Bhairava Upasana had been neglected only to the fringes. For example, doing Shakti Upasana, a little bit Bhairava Upasana is done, or maybe as a Grama Devata, or a deity who's not given the amount of sadhana, amount of japa, amount of prana. In fact, every time you do japa of a deity, you are actually offering your own prana to that deity, and that invokes and that energizes the aura and the blessings of the deity and the interaction of the deity on the physical plane. So that is the whole process of puja, of sadhana, is fundamentally this. You're offering something, you're offering your own prana through the mantras, through the rituals, everything. Whether you are giving a flower, that also has some amount of prana. So this enlivens the deity, and if the deity is keen to interact with the world of humans, it is going to manifest its presence very clearly over time. So you might suddenly see that there is, very recently somebody sent me a news article where there is a special commando unit that has been formed with the name of Lord Bhairava. It's wonderful. These small things, it may seem like small things, but everywhere there is the imprint of Bhairava that is coming up, and nobody can stop this. And of course, there are very complicated rituals of Bhairava. You can go to the cremation ground and worship Bhairava. That is definitely there. But there are also simple ways of doing a simple Nama Mantra Japa Bhairava that increases strength, that increases determination, that increases courage, and also provides a certain degree of protection to the Upasaka from all sorts of karmic difficulties and any other kind of negative energies that may be present in their life journey, or in their destiny, or in the surroundings, the physical surroundings of the place. So having given that little introduction, I have already done videos on the Kalabhairava Sadhanas and the Ashtabhairava Sadhanas, along with it the normal Om Bhairava Nama Japa, which there are innumerable people who are doing it right now. And as years go, there will be more and more who will get attracted to it. It is very simply the aura of Bhairava that attracts people into this, and it is going to keep increasing it. There is no stopping it. Along with it, in the same context, we are also, as I had mentioned, also working, my team is also working very strongly for the procurement of land and starting of the establishment of the Bhairava temples across India. So together with these two things, it becomes an extremely potent combination where not just for now or a few years, for centuries, there are going to be people who will get attracted, initiated, and who will find an entry point into the energy and aura of Bhagwan Bhairava. And Bhairava himself will guide and open the path into what needs to be done next. So, in this context, as the Ashtami tithi is coming, again, there are many people who had mailed regarding sadhanas. So I have already mentioned some sadhanas that can be done, and mind you, it's a long term process to engage with a devata, engage with the deity. Is not a matter of few months. It's at least 3 years of unbroken sadhana, ideally 12 years. Anything less than 12 years is not going to sustain for you. So this is the way you think if you are thinking in terms like an upasaka. In the context of that, so those who have been doing the Bhairava Japa, the Nama Mantra Japa, or the Vatuka Bhairava Mula Mantra, or the Kal Bhairava Ashtakam sadhanas, etc., these are actually very simple sadhanas. What is required is consistency and discipline. Over years, if you keep doing that, it is automatically going to transform you into, from what you currently are at the moment you start, into somebody who has a greater aura and a greater strength, inner strength to go through anything. That is the first, the most important blessing of Bhairava, that you don't back down from whatever difficulties that life in fact, what we call life is nothing but the aggregate of our own karmas that we have accumulated over many lifetimes. So he gives you that strength to go through it. He gives you that power to go through it. He gives you that fearlessness to go through it. And in that route, eventually, you establish yourself in Satyam. Satyam is truth. Bhairava is the greatest of all truth. That is why he is Digambara. He has no coverings around him. That itself takes you eventually into a very higher spiritual realm. It gives you into the state of, I mean, those who are capable of it, or those who are destined for it in this lifetime, will also enter and experience states of samadhi by this sadhana eventually. Not everybody, because it's a very tough thing, but why not? If Lord Bhairava wishes it, there will be people who will be attaining very high states. Along with it, there will also be souls who are connected to Bhairava, who will get born here because of the aura of this sadhanas and the collective effort that is being put in, the attraction that is created by the aura of Bhairava among masses today. That is going to bring souls who are very powerfully connected to Bhairava, maybe souls from past who have done these sadhanas, who will again be reborn in this modern times, in this modern era. And by that, they are going to pull further and further ordinary people into the path of spirituality. So apart from all these sadhanas, and those who are consistently doing the Bhairava sadhanas, there is another process, another sadhana that can be done for Bhairava, and that is very effective. I have not mentioned this specifically. I think I have not mentioned it in a video till now. So one of the most useful methods of Bhairav sadhana is called the Bhairav Deepadana. Deepdan is basically nothing but fundamentally offering a lamp to Bhairava. Why a lamp? Because if you go a little bit into the studying the history of how the progression of deity upasanas have happened right from the very ancient times, you will see that there is a very strong connection to Rudra, to Agni, to the Aghora Swarupa of Rudra, and also to Bhairava. So these deities have the tremendous amount of Agni Tattva in them. Number one. Number two, when you light a lamp, this acts as a sakshi, as a witness. It's like your soul. It is a witness to the act that you're doing. And that produces a very powerful impact of sadhana on the individual. So, there are multiple methods of Deepdan, by the way. And as it's fashion among few people with, you know, a limited amount of knowledge, but a lot of overconfidence, who will claim that only this is the right method and that is the right method. All that is nonsense. There are multiple methods of Deepdan. All of them are equally effective. At the end of the day, Tantra sadhana is something very practical. Tantra sadhana is supposed to bear a result. If the result is not coming, all the theories are useless at the end of the day. Yes, sufficient time has to be given. That is also important, because if you aim for something very high, it is not going to happen in a matter of few months until your karmas are resolved. It will take, which is what I said, anything between 3 years. And if you have to really become an upasaka, then you have to continue the sadhanas for 12 years at least, as a fundamental solid base is created internally, because 12 is the number of years that Jupiter takes to cover the whole zodiac, and Jupiter is the Deva Guru among the grahas. So Jupiter's transit causes a very strong impact on the individual. Now, coming to Deepdan, on the Ashtami tithi, a simple way of Deepdanam is to offer 108 diyas to Bhairava. Okay, simple diyas made of mud and using sarso ka tel, which is sarso ka tel, and a red wick. Wick has to be basically of cotton, but if you can roll it in sindoor, make it red in color, then it is very good. Along with it, once the 108 diyas are set up, you take some flowers. With the flowers, you take a basic sankalpa that you are doing the sadhana for the preethi of Bhagwan Bhairava. You can take the sankalpa in your own name. Those who are aware of how to take a Sanskrit sankalpa may do it accordingly with desh, kal, patra, everything mentioned together. If you don't know all that, just take some flowers in your hand, pray to Bhairava, and say that you are doing it to the best of your ability, this Deepdan ritual. So once 108 diyas are set along with the wick, and you have to roll the wick in red colored sindoor so that it becomes reddish in color. Pour sarso ka tel on, oil in all of these diyas, light them, ensure that there is Naivedyam offered to Bhairava. Naivedyam can be anything from urad dal, anything made of urad dal, or anything for those who offer non-vegetarian Naivedyam can offer eggs, or can offer fish, or can offer mutton. You have to avoid chicken. So there are various types of niyamas in this possible, but it is not compulsory. I mean, those who are vegetarians, they can offer anything made of urad dal, or very simply just offer sweets. Sweets are one of the best things to offer, especially if it is made of good, if it is reddish in color, if it is, a little fried sweets. Sometimes you have from the market. All these things are very good to offer to Bhairava. So just offer those sweets, light those diyas, then sit down, and you can chant the Kalabhairava Ashtakam. You can chant the Kalabhairava Ashtakam how many times. It's not about how many times. You can keep doing it till the diyas are burning. Okay. So you don't just light the diyas and run away from that space, because the energy is starting initially. Okay, when the energy is just starting, that is when you have to sit down, and you need to chant the Kalabhairava Ashtakam till whatever time the diyas are burning. Okay, or whatever time you are capable of sitting. The more you sit, the better. Or you can just do Om Bhairavaya Nama Japa. And again, the same thing. Don't fix a count. Do it till the time that the diyas are burning. Or the third option, you can do Batak Bhairava Japa also. That is also perfectly all right. Again, till the time that the diyas are burning. Now, suppose somebody is not able to light 108 diyas, then you can do just 11 diyas. Okay, just 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 11 diyas. Each of the diyas, the wick has to be of red color. You roll it in sindoor or some kumkum so that it becomes reddish. Put oil into each of the diyas. Along with the oil, in the oil, you can add 2 laung. Okay, 2 pieces of laung into the oil, each of these. And then you light the diya. You keep some Naivedyam as described initially, how to give the Naivedyam. And then you take a Sankalpa that you're doing it for the explicit pleasure of Bhagwan Bhairava. You don't need to ask for anything material. Just do it for the pleasure of Bhairava. And then you sit down and you can chant the Kalabhairava Ashtakam, or you can chant the Om Bhairavaya Nama mantra, or you can chant the Batuk Bhairava mantra. Carry this on till the time that till the diyas are on. You cannot just get up like in the middle. I mean, if you have to take a break, that is all right. But try and sit in that space till you are able, till the diyas are burning. because that invokes a strong presence of Bhairava. And once that presence is there, that is when the sadhana becomes more fruitful, more effective. To make it even more potent, this sadhana, if somebody is able to do this sadhana in a place where there is a Shivalinga, established temple, or there is a Kali temple, or there is a Durga temple, uh, or there is a remote space, then it becomes very powerful. But remember, remote space is a little risky. I would not advise it for most people until you have good guidance, or at least until you know how to protect yourself from any kind of energies in a different environment. So that is not something I would advise. But yes, if you have the opportunity to do it in a temple, then do it. If not, you can do it at home. It's a very simple sadhana. There is nothing complicated in it. And the whole point is that your concentration, your intent, your devotion should be accurate. And once you do this, you will yourself see how beneficial, how powerful this process is. Now, if you are at a place where there is a flowing river, then you can also do a deep danam on the river, which means even one diya is good enough. Even one diya, you light it properly. The whole point of this sadhana is that you do it with awareness and concentration. You don't just do it, like your mind is distracted somewhere else. No, when you're doing it, you have to be present in the moment. You have to be thinking of Bhairava. You have to have that sense of devotion that, okay, you are doing something for Bhairava. All these things count. This sense of devotion, this uh, making the whole thing right from the beginning, etc., till the end, everything counts into the as an act of sadhana. So if you are in a place where there's a flowing river, take one diya, just one diya, light the diya, again make a sankalpam with a flower, or if you don't have flower, you can use it with water also. Same thing. You say the desh, kal, patra, etc., your name, your gotra, and say you are doing this only for this explicit pleasure of Bhagwan Bhairava. And then you sit in front of the diya, on the banks of the river, and then you chant the Kalabhairava Ashtakam a few times, maybe 8 times, okay? And then you take the diya and you put it up, you float it in the flowing water. So as the diya travels in the water, so it's difficult sometimes, it may you know not pass off easily. In that case, some people tend to put it in a plate or something, whatever. So basically, once you put the diya in the water, uh, if you have gone to Kashi, you would see that during Ganga puja or simple way, in the evenings when the arti happens, there are a lot of people who will light lamps and who will put it into the river. Same way for Bhairava. If there's a flowing river, and if you have, if it's safe for you to do it, of course, all this has to be taken into account. Then you light the diya, you chant the Kalbhairava Ashtakam 8 times, and then with complete reverence, you put the diya into the river. As it goes away, the river itself has a very powerful energy inside. In fact, a lot of tantric pujas require that after the puja is done, the yantra or the samagri used in the puja is taken and its visarjan is done in the flowing river. By putting it into the river, what happens is that the energies that have been generated by your sadhana, they will reach the realm of the specific deity for whom your puja is done. It's a very powerful method. And once it reaches, then the results of whatever you did, assuming that you did it correctly, properly, and it is appropriate to the result you have in mind, it is going to come back into your life in a matter of some days. It could be 7 days or 10 days or even a month sometimes. But yes, this is a very powerful method. But for others, you might do it at home. So this is a simple paddhati of Deepdan for Bhairava, and Bhairava Deepdan is one of the most effective methods of Bhairav Puja. Now, of course, there are, as I mentioned right at the beginning, there are multiple ways of Deepdan. So don't get confused if somebody says, no, you have to do it this way, that way. All that is fine. What is not fine is if somebody tells you that this is the only correct way and everything else is wrong. That is absolute rubbish. Because there is, of course, a whole lot of people who survive on such kind of fear mongering, because perhaps their shops have to run that way, so they tell people that you cannot do anything else. That's all nonsense. But basically, the whole point of the Deepdan, what I mentioned to you, is one of the methods. It's extremely effective to do this. You do this with a sense of devotion. Right from the time you have the diyas, you're putting oil into it, you're putting the bati and the wick, and you're rolling it in sindoor, you're preparing the Naivedyam, offering it, your concentration and mind should be in a very devotional state. It should be completely surrendered to Bhairava. Then everything becomes an upasana. Then your whatever sadhana you do is going to reach the deity, and his blessings are definitely going to come to you. Now, there are people who do kamya sadhanas, prayogas with this. Sadhana means basically there's a specific desire to be fulfilled, then also Deepdan is done. But at this moment, I would not encourage that. Basic thing is that you do it if you want to do it. If you have been doing Bhairava Sadhana, if you have the capacity for it, then do it on Ashtami tithi, simply with the idea that you're doing it for the anugraha of Bhagwan Bhairava. With that, I'll end the video. Jai Ma Kamakya, Jai Matara, Jai Bhairava.